tab though. Your laptop is open in there.
Which?
Check your YouTube tab.
YouTube? No. Show me.
Just go to the tab that's open in YouTube.
Go to the tab that's open in YouTube? Okay. Alright. So go to my channel and see? Go to the channel.
No, you see, how many tabs you have open at this time?
Only got one. Close all the rest of them. Let's close the rest of them.
Okay, can you bring it?
Laptop?
Yeah. Make sure it's in this.
Yeah, I'll make some time now.
No problem. I'm gonna get him right now.
People waiting.
Yeah, before I take it off mute, I'm gonna take it off mute now, so it's letting you know.
Okay,
Then
so.
we start talking about other things. Where's the music?
This is so funny. This is so funny.
You know how to play the music? On BLOGTALK? You just play it.
No, I would have to go in. It's not going to just let me go. I would have to schedule a show and go in and play that music.
Oh, okay, so you can't.
What about your Apple Music?
Wouldn't come up. Having a hard time locating files on his computer. The few ones that we did click on.
Yeah, you sound like that. That's fine. We won't get no copyright strike with that, right? We won't get no copyright strike with that, right? Oh, okay, there you go. That's coming up from here, it's going from here, and then it's coming out of the, you know.
can render with the supreme man, with the supreme man, with the supreme man. Hell no, bro. So she's afraid to show what it looks like on the day or night. But she wear weird weaves and so on. She was like, so on. That attitude is hard. She's stuffed with new tracks in the scalp. When she tries to take them out, she goes out. She's adjusted to the peer pressure. For the shine, she's disgusted. Her identity's coming up. Long wig on her hair. I'm trying to be a white girl. Nah, she's trying to be a white girl. On a mission of womanhood, meaning misunderstood. Doing the thing she thinks she should. So she goes and cuts her hair off. Over her start to take part in self-empowerment. But we get the blame, we like sheep, and we strong when they fall back. This girl's getting ready with the supreme man. This mind's getting ready with the supreme man. This mind's getting ready with the supreme man. With the supreme man. With the supreme man. This mind's getting ready with the supreme man. This mind's getting ready with the supreme man. This mind's getting ready with the supreme man. With the supreme man. With the supreme man.
You know the lie? The lie?
Smelling good. If they don't like it, then the others will work at work. I ain't trying to come from them when I come from them. About my business and decisions. That's a real man, keep them on edge. She ain't getting no dreams. That's what everybody else got. She done buying the hair everybody else got. Take pride in self and live in the toe. Yeah, everybody know what they steal. Young ladies look up to her and want to be her. Struggle with the supreme man. And the morning get dressed with the South Coast. That she wears. This mind's getting ready with the supreme man. This mind's getting ready with the supreme man. This mind's getting ready with the supreme man. With the supreme man. With the supreme man. This mind's getting ready with the supreme man. This mind's getting ready with the supreme man. This mind's getting ready with the supreme man. With the supreme man. With the supreme man.
Right. Are we live? Go. All right. In the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord, in Amen we trust, in Amen we think, and in Amen we continue forward forever. Good evening, I'm your host, the intellectual Nuben Menkares, and this is High and Mighty Talks with Nuben Menkares. And tonight, I'm going to be discussing, I want to look at it this way. You want to see it this way. Okay, so I can see it much better. My little console. What is interfere? Should I turn it back? Okay.
What you trying to do?
I want to see myself straight ahead as opposed to seeing this, looking to the side. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. It's distracting to have that on the side of me like that.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, can everybody hear me? Am I coming in clear? Yes? Can everybody hear me? Yeah, everybody say yeah? Am I coming in clear? Nobody say anything? Am I coming in clear? Okay, all right, good. All right, this is our second installment of High and Mighty Talks with Nuben Menkares. I'm your host, Nuben Menkares, the intellectual Nuben Menkares. For those of you who don't know me, please everybody share this link with everybody. I'm taking calls. We got our number up here. I'm taking calls. So share this link with everybody. Those who want to engage in this intelligent conversation, this topic about our true roots, our true heritage. Those you can see, I copied this from Kevin Samuels. I give credit where credit. Do you see the little little object here? I like these things. I saw Kevin Samuels do it. So shout out to Kevin Samuels. Rest in peace. I saw him rest in power. Excuse me. I saw this on his he used to use this as a prop in his videos. So shout out to Kevin Samuels. Yeah, I like these. And plus the little ball things that go back and forth. You know those, I forget what they're called. And my baby's in the background. But anyway. So tonight's topic is going to be from African American to ethnic American, our true roots, our real roots, which I wanted to do a video for because when you hear the term ethnic American, please know that that is coined by myself, Nuben Menkares. That is going to be, in fact, those of you who become members of the American Republic, right, or which we refer to as, those who are members as Americanists, we acknowledge that we are ethnic Americans, meaning that we have no link to Africa. You see, you got a few different titles out here now that are popular amongst so-called black people. You got African American, which is the most popular, which, dictates or says that, or states that we were originally from Africa, so-called, as quote-unquote so-called black people originally from Africa, and that we were taken by force, or what they call forced immigration now, or slavery, which is really another way of saying slavery, into America and forced to work. And this is where we come from, which is a bold-faced lie. Bold-faced lie. Then you have Tariq Nasheed, who's making the term FBA, Foundational Black American, a big thing now. I'm starting to see him, that's picking up a lot of steam with the FBA thing, Foundational Black American. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed. And then there's me, who I started using the term ethnic American. I didn't put black in there. I didn't make no description of color. Reason being is because, and I said this before and I'll say it again, that we're the only real Americans here. We're the only real ethnic Americans here. So I coined that term ethnic American for the people who are really falsely being called African American. Because if you can trace your family and your heritage back to slavery here in America, or past slavery here in America, then that means 9 times out of 10 that you are ethnic Americans, indigenous to America. We don't use the term Native American because the so-called Mongoloid Indians, they use that terminology, even though they're not really native to America. They came from over the Bering Straits and from Mongolia into America and found our people, the original Mesoamerican people here in the Americas. So, Tariq Nasheed, his Foundational Black American thing still states that our people, came from Africa at some point, and some people came from different places, and they all mixed in from African and became, so some of the indigenous people here, and became so-called, quote-unquote, African, so-called black people. They're African Americans, as it's called. They're Foundational Black Americans, as he called them. What we state in ethnic Americanism, or as ethnic Americans, that we didn't come from Africa. We're stating, and I'm stating, that we have nothing to do with Africa. We have nothing to do with any transatlantic slave trade. Our people were here in America before the transatlantic slave trade. Our people were here before white people in this country. Our people were here before the Mongoloid Asians, who call themselves Native Americans. Like I said, their roots can be traced back to the Mongolians who crossed over the Bering Straits and here into the southern regions of America and South America and Central America, and came into Mesoamerica after our civilizations were built. Our ancestry is the Olmecs, the Aztec, the Inca, the Mayan people. That's our descendancy here in America. These are the real indigenous Americans. These are the real ethnic Americans. And all they did was come from South America, come from Central America, and they came into North America. And this is how we really got here into America. This is the real truth of our roots and our heritage. We didn't come from Africa. No disrespect to people who are African, but most of your so-called Africans have a tribal look to them. Everybody knows how real Africans look. So when I say I see our people over there, the ones who can actually grow hair, like afros and woolly hair and braids and whatnot, that's indicative of America. That is not African. Afros, if you notice with the real tribal Africans, right, you'll notice that they can't really grow hair. They have really thick coiled hair, which y'all might in America call peasy hair, that don't grow. You see, that's what and they have the blue-black skin complexion. Y'all know how Africans look. You see, so can somebody catch up here? Can somebody catch up to here on how, just for a second, because I'm sitting still on this. Okay. Okay. Let's cut it down. Okay. All right.
It just went off by itself.
Yeah, no, I guess so. So, you know how the tribal Africans look. And that's really the Africans right there. Those are our people who are in Africa who have afros and braids who actually grow hair. You're not really African. I'm just letting you know. And I'm going to do a high and mighty talks on that, proving that the people who can actually grow hair and have afros and things like that, they came from someplace else. They're not African. The true Africans don't really grow hair. They have a certain dark skin complexion. And yes, there was a brief transatlantic slave trade of those Africans into the Americas. However, a lot of them went into the islands like Jamaica, Haiti, and places like that. And some of them went into South America, some of them. But even there, our people were already in those lands, already in the Americas. And some of them mixed in with our people. Very few of them got into North America. Very few, like about 3% or something like that, or smaller than that. And then that slave trade stopped in 1808. All right. So what they did in fake history is to, take an actual event, the transatlantic slave trade, in which the tribal Africans were brought here. And at a certain point, because of sickness, because of traveling the rough seas of the transatlantic ocean, right? Whereas the Pacific is a lot more peaceful, but you would have to travel across at that time the transatlantic ocean to bring people into this land. It was very tumultuous, to do that, especially with the type of ships they had. So that stopped. And then, like I said, most of the cargo that was on the ship arrived. It was dead. It was diseased. The Caucasians were passing diseases on to the women through sexual intercourse. They were having sex with the women on the ships, and these people were defecating on themselves. So they would lose half of their cargo, not to mention these people coming over here sick and then they don't know the language. So who's going to teach them the language? And like I said, who's going to teach these people to work? So it wouldn't have been economically feasible to continue bringing so-called Africans into America. It would not be economically feasible. Okay. And they want you to, and then what they don't tell you in this so-called American history, that the slaves was doing way more than just picking cotton. They were doing carpentry work. They were doing agriculture, growing food on the land, all this skilled labor. The women were sewing and doing things like that. So they were doing skilled labor. My question is, who taught these people to do that if they came from Africa? Who taught them? And then there would have to be an understanding of the language. Okay? You would have to teach these people English. How you going to teach these people English who fighting with you, who got disease and all this other stuff? How you going to teach these people a language and teach them skills and whatnot? You wouldn't even let so-called black people read. So there's something fishy about this story that we all came from Africa and all. That's a load of BS. That's BS. And then how they say how we start to populate, upon the so-called, transatlantic slave trade, because the number keep going up. They come with this nonsense about 4 million black people brought here, then 6 million. Then I think it got jumped up to 100 million now. So people are just saying stuff. Okay. The truth of the matter is that we are the descendants of those Mesoamerican people who came into North America from South America, from Central America into North America. And that's documented. You know how you know that's the truth? Because just now I told you in Georgia, and they found all these mound cities all over North America, in Illinois, in Georgia, and all these other places. The Mayans had an 1,100-year-old mound city that they found in Georgia. And they found a lot of these mound cities, but they were covering them up. They were building over them. The Caucasians were doing that to hide the history. That's our people. That's where we really came from. You see, we come from people who were farming the land, growing on the land, building on the land. We come from those people. We came from the South into the North. We came from the South and Central of America into the North. And the first people that invaded America was your Mongoloid Indians, the Mongolians who have the slanted eyes, the Asian looking ones who mixed in with some of our people and took on a lot of our Mesoamerican culture and our ritual and heritage. And what happened was, this is where your so-called Indian came from. That's where your so-called Indian culture come from. It's really a ripoff of Mesoamerican culture. Because if you go back in the Mayan, culture, you can see the feathers, the bows, the arrows, and all that stuff in Mayan culture. All you got to do is go back and look. That was originally our culture, Mesoamerican culture, not Indian culture. That's an incorrect term to refer to those people as Indians, or people who are supposed to be native to America as Indians. That's an incorrect terminology. The correct terminology would be Mesoamerican, or what the Caucasians call Mesoamerican. That's our people, the Olmecs, the original people of Mexico, which were bronze copper colored people. We're going to stop messing around, because you got a lot of people who want to claim our heritage. That's my daughter in the background, you know. But we got to stop messing around here, because there's a lot of false history out there, a lot of false narrative out there of people who talking about our history and people trying to rewrite our history. Okay? We got to stop people from rewriting our history and coming with this old slave narrative. My question is to the so-called pan-Africanists: if we are African and we came from Africa, then who taught us how to cultivate this land in America? Who taught us how to cultivate the land in America? Who taught our people how to build in America? Who taught our people that? You know, it wasn't Caucasians doing that. They wouldn't even let us read. So why would they teach us? And then there would have to be a certain understanding of language and things of that nature. So it just don't add up. You see, this whole lie that we just was brought over to America to pick cotton is a bold-faced lie. That's a lie. You wouldn't have to bring a whole bunch of people over. You risking people's lives, not only just the cargo, but the crew, just to come over here and pick cotton. No, there was skilled labor here. We cleared the forest here in America. We was the first labor force here in America, the first technical and labor force here in America for over 300 years. Our slave labor, our American slave labor, there was no African slave trade. There was an American slave trade. Our American slave work built the United States economy, built the United States government, because you don't have a government without an economy. The United States economy was built by slave labor. 300 to 400 years of free labor. Okay? 300 plus years of free labor. You think about that. Because they love to talk about in this country, the so-called Caucasian historians love to talk about how America was built by immigrants. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. They keep telling you about the Italians, the Irish, the Chinese that came over here, worked on the railroads, worked in construction. That was after our people. See, they came after slavery and started working, because they had to bring a workforce, because once slavery supposedly ended in 1865, they needed a workforce to continue building. That's when they started letting over the immigrants. But we had already did all the major work. They had on the railroads, the railroads owned slaves. So who you think was digging those ditches, laying track and doing all of that stuff? It was our people, but they want to give credit to the Asians. They want to give credit to the Chinese, which is false. They came later. All these people came after us. All these people are Johnny-come-latelys that came after us. There would have been no cities to build if there was not an economy to build it by. We were the economy. We made, like I said, we did the agriculture in the land. We built on the land. We did all of that. The Caucasians came here. They didn't know how to do anything. They came from Europe, totally different climate, totally different environment. They didn't know how to do anything other than to bring guns here and force people to work and kill people. That's pretty much it. So our people were doing the heavy lifting. We were doing the building here in this society. And that's proven. And it also is proven that the original people of this land, we are connected to the original natives of this land of America, the Olmecs, the Aztec, the Inca, the Mayan, known as Mesoamerican in history, that they barely talk about, that we are the descendants of these people. You see, we can find our images back. Look on the Bonaparte temples. Look at the Olmecs. Look at all these people, the Aztec. There's plenty of proof that we are descendants of those people. You see, we've been looking in the wrong places for our heritage and for our history. We've been looking in the wrong places. Okay? We've been looking in the wrong places for our heritage and history. They keep pointing us back to Africa. And like I said, the whole thing of calling us African American is really meant to be an insult. You see, it's an insult to make you think that people took you on slave ships and brought you and conquered you and brought you into America, they rather you believe that than the reality. Now, there's some of the Africans mixing with our people. Yes, some of them did, but very few of them were here in North America. Very few of them made it into North America because you know how we as ethnic Americans, again, I'm not even using that terminology African American no more because we didn't come from Africa. That's a lie. We as ethnic Americans, and I hope only the intelligent ones of our people embrace that, because we are the ethnicity of America. We are the ethnicity of America. America, the only ethnicity of America is so-called, quote-unquote, black people. And I said this before in my last cast, that the reason why they refer to us as black people, part of it is to hide our heritage. What do you do when you want to hide something? You black it out. Thus, you start referring to the people as black people. You refer to the people who are native to this land, who are indigenous, who are the real indigenous people of this land. You call them black people. And then you get them to call themselves black people. And they're not even realizing why they call themselves black people. You basically calling yourself erased people, redacted people, people who have been wiped out. That's what you call yourself when you refer to yourself as black people. Not to mention that you make yourselves the bottom of white people when you do that. You see, you make yourself the negative to their positive because they always show you white as positive. And so if you call yourself black, you're basically making yourself the negative to them, which is the intention they had behind calling us black people in the first place, to make us seem as though we were negative, to make us seem as though we were degenerate, to make us seem as though we were low-life people, when we were the people that actually made a lane for Caucasians and everybody else to come into America. Because as I said before, had it not been for the copper-colored races, which is making reference to us in the 1828 Merriam-Webster Dictionary, had it not been for the copper-colored races here in the Americas, in the North America and in the Americas, there could be nobody living here. They came here because we were here. We were already here in America trading. We were already here. And a lot of your archaeologists and all your historians, the ones who really did their research, they know what I'm saying is the truth. They don't want to admit it because they have to keep this "we came from Africa" slave teaching going. Let me get a small cup of coffee and some water. Okay, they have to keep this dynamic going. They have to keep this lie going. And so we have to dispel the lie. We can't wait for them to tell us any more fake lies and, false history and narrative, or wait for them to tell us this. We got the proof. We got the heritage. Go look at the Bonin Park temples. Go look at the Olmecs. There's plenty of proof of our people as the real natives of this land, or as the real indigenous people, as the real ethnic people of this land, the first people here in this land. And even today, so-called quote-unquote American culture is defined by so-called black people, bronze people. I don't even like to use the term black. We're just going to say bronze because that's really the color of our skin any damn way. Our skin is not black. That's defined by us. The music is defined by us because they always so quick to say, oh, ethnic American people, the bronze man, the bronze woman, but we don't have no culture. But yet everybody up here listening to hip hop. Hip hop is part of our musical culture. Culture is defined by what? Music, food, dance, things like that. We got all of that as ethnic Americans. We got R&B. We got soul. We got blues. We got reggae. Reggae is really our music, but we'll get into that another time. Rock and roll. You see, it goes on. Jazz. That's all our music. Hip hop, rap music. That's all our music. This big dispute now about this guy Fat Joe talking about Latinos responsible for half responsible for the creation of hip hop, which is a lie. You see, that's another reason why we have to define ourselves right now. The whole black thing got to go. You see, because there's no such thing as black culture. That sounds ignorant to say at this point. And here it is 2022 and we still referring to ourselves as black people. We haven't caught on. It's like we the slow people in the room. So our people are slow. We're not realizing when people were insulting us and when they were meaning to insult us by referring to us as black people. That was meant to be an insult. What people what proud, independent people allows another race of people to define who they are. That whole black thing came from white people. That didn't come from us. We made reference to ourselves as copper tone, sepia, bronze, and upon looking at us, that's what we are. I don't know why you running away from that. I don't know why people run away from that. Why they want to be African so bad. And let me ask you so-called Pan-Africans this, and this go for you, Umar Johnson. If the so-called Africans sold us into slavery, why are we supposed to be embracing Pan-Africanism? Please make that make sense to me. Why would we embrace Pan-Africanism if the so-called Africans sold us into slavery? Why are we supposed to be embracing Pan-Africanism? Make that make sense to me. Please make that make sense to me, why we should be embracing Pan-Africanism when the Africans supposedly sold us into slavery. And when they come into America, they don't have nothing to do with our people. We have a very rich, and then we got to attribute everything that we created here in America to them. We got to contribute R&B, blues, soul, all the jazz, all the good music that really is the sound of America. We got to contribute. We got to attribute that all to the Africans, because we got this whole lie in our head that we came from Africa. All life started in Africa. So whatever we create here in America, they got to be attributed to the Africans. No. We as ethnic Americans, I'm using that terminology. That's why I made this video to make it. That's why I started trademarking up the ethnic American thing and whatnot, and take a hold of that. Because just like MENTELLECT, I'm known for MENTELLECT. I'm going to be known for ethnic American. My people in the American Republic, we're going to be known as ethnic Americans, because that's who we are. As Americanists, as ethnic Americans, that's who we are. We saying that we proud of our American heritage, our Mesoamerican heritage, as the Olmecs, the Aztec, the Inca, the Mayan. It's time for the truth to be told. Stop with this African lie. Please stop with this African tribal lie of BS. This is one, and y'all stay talking about, oh, the ancestors in Africa, and no, man, our ancestors are here in America. And like I said in the last video, it's a slap in their face for you to sit up here and denounce or deny our connection to them because some lie these Caucasians told about our people coming out of Africa. That's meant to be nothing but an insult. Now, reality is never going to be acknowledged as it is until we acknowledge the pure and the true reality. We have to acknowledge that. If we don't acknowledge the pure reality, the true reality of who we are, what we came here to be, then like I said, this is for nothing. This is for nothing. We have to acknowledge who we are as a people. And we are American. No one else here can call themselves American in America but us. Merriam-Webster Dictionary, 1828, definition of American tells you everything. Why y'all keep running away from that? Why the Pan-Africanists keep running away from that? Why the Pan-Africanists don't want to address that? Even the double Z's in the name, when you see in my name, Mencares, that's not Spanish. That's American. When people ask me what my name is, where that come from, Nuben Mencares, Nuben is our Amenkare. When they ask me that, I say, man, that's American. That's ethnic American name. That's American. Now I know you're strange because nobody knows what an American name sounds like. So you would think there's no American names because you don't think that America has an ethnicity here. They tell you that American was just some place where Caucasians and all these Mongoloid Indians came and it wasn't nobody here. That's a damn lie, man. There was always an ethnicity in America. America is not a new nation at all. It is only new to Caucasians. America has the oldest civilizations on the planet. Who the hell you think was building that? It wasn't the Mongoloid Indians, even though they're trying to give them credit for our Mesoamerican heritage right now. And that just burns me up. That they're trying to give our heritage, but you can clearly see these people are the copper-colored people. These are so-called, quote-unquote, black people on the walls in Mesoamerica, in Mayan culture, and Aztec culture, and Inca culture, and Olmec culture. You can clearly see that that's our people on those walls. You see? You can clearly see that those are so-called black people, and I say so-called black people on those walls. And they don't look like Africans either. They look like us today. So what am I supposed to do? Ignore that real culture because some fool want to sit up here and push pan-Africanism to our people? Something we are not. We're supposed to ignore our true roots, our true heritage as Americans from our Mesoamerican ancestry as the copper-colored people, the bronze people, because copper and bronze is the same thing. So when I refer to our people as bronze people, and it goes right back to when they refer to us as copper-colored people, because we're not brown-skinned people. We're not brown. The Mexicans are brown. The East Indians are brown. We're not brown. We have a tint to our skin that looks like copper tone. And not only that, like I said, we refer to ourselves as that, and you had the Caucasians, upon looking at us, refer to ourselves as that early on before they starting up this black and Negro thing, which was really meant to be, again, a classification, because at one point in time they didn't know who was Caucasian and who wasn't. So the best way to, get people to know in the census what race people were, they was forcing our people to mark down Negro or black or Negro. That was the classification they gave us, Negro, which is Spanish for black. Negrito, negro. You see, that's what they was referring to our people as. Because they didn't want to keep on saying or bring out the fact that we the real Americans here. We the only real Americans here. And that's like anything. Any place where, let me tell you something, wherever Caucasians come or anybody come, trust me, the first people there is us. We make it to whereas it is lush. We make it to whereas it is livable before they come any place. Even in Europe, we was the first people in Europe. That's factual. We was the first people in Asia. That's factual. We're the oldest people on the planet. We're the oldest living people on the planet. So we were everywhere first. Before everybody, before the Caucasians came on the earth, before the Asians came on the earth, we were there before them. And we have to acknowledge that reality, especially here as America. Now, people say, like you get your Umar Johnsons and these guys, who, like I said last time, these guys are not going back to Africa. So my question is, why would you push pan-Africanism if you're not going to be the first one to head back to Africa and start setting up things, setting up shop? Why are you not the first one? Why are you in Philadelphia, Umar Johnson? Why are you in the United States and you're pushing pan-Africanism when you should be one of the first ones on your way back to Ghana, Zambia, or wherever the hell in Africa you claim we come from? You should be the first one back there setting up shop. You shouldn't. Why are you pushing the doctrine of pan-Africanism on our people and we're not even feeling pan-Africanism? Nor are we feeling it because you're trying to, like I said, these people work for these Caucasians. They want to push that whole narrative, that African narrative, because the Caucasians, they really want to be the face of America. And they know that they still need some time. They still need time. They need time to pass before eventually they start saying that they Native Americans. Caucasians are Native Americans. You see, they pushing for that already. That's why if you look at Wikipedia, you'll see where a lot of these Caucasians coming over here, they don't even say where they come from anymore. They just saying their nationality is American. How you going to come from someplace else and your nationality is American? How do you do that? That's saying when you saying your nationality is American, nationality is another way of saying native. You're saying you're native to America. You're not native to America. You are from where your family, your ancestors is from. So all Caucasian people are European. They can't claim American. White people are not American. I don't care what they trying to call themselves, because if that's the case, then like I said, if they get to claim something else, then that means we could up and go to Italy and call ourselves Italians tomorrow. If anybody could just up and go to another place and live there for 10, 15 years, however long you live here, then you could just call yourself something else. You cannot. But see, the rules always change when it's dealing with Caucasians or these Asians who call themselves Indians. And then people like Umar Johnson say, all life started in Africa. They binds the whole life. All life started in Africa. Well, if that's the case, then you can get with a Caucasian woman, Umar Johnson. You should be able to get with a Caucasian woman. Don't call her European because she's an African sister. Ain't she? Since all life started in Africa, then you shouldn't be against interracial dating then, Umar Johnson, because you said if you believe all life started in Africa, that means everybody African. So now what's the problem? You believe everybody part of the human race, and you believe that means you believe that these people are African. Okay? That's what you believe. You believe that if everybody's African, then and Caucasians will say that too. All life started in Africa. Then why y'all calling yourself European? Then why don't y'all be African then? Why are you calling yourself Asian then? Why are you differentiating yourself if all life started in Africa? You see, they only want to hang that African thing on us as a way to segregate us from the rest of the planet and tell us that we ain't native or you just come from Africa, because Africa is really meant to be an insult. Africa is meant to be that tribal place, that dark place where people were swinging around in trees and you weren't doing nothing but until the white man brought you to America. That's really meant to be an insult. Y'all too stupid to know when you're being insulted. I'm going to need my American brothers and sisters, my ethnic American brothers and sisters to wake up, because by them calling you so-called African American, that's really them insulting you. That's really Caucasians insulting you. You see, and a lot of people, a lot of these Boule Coon Sambos who are on the meal line getting their checks from these Caucasians to teach African American studies and all this, they know the truth, man. But they willing to conceal the truth because they want to keep getting their damn check. They want to keep getting their tenure at some college somewhere, some prestigious college teaching African American studies, whatever the hell that is. We gotta let the lies go, man. And like I said, don't wait on Caucasians to tell you, oh, well, you guys are right, you are. That's the problem with our people. That's that slave mentality. See, you become a slave over time once you keep acknowledging blackness. You end up becoming a slave to whiteness. You sit up here and wait for Caucasians to tell you what your heritage is, what your race is, what your culture is. You wait on them to tell you that. All right? There goes the Cordell. All right. Cup of Joe for the day. We have to deal with the reality of who we are. Ethnic American is what we are. That fits us. And like I said, I'm coining that phrase, and we refer to ourselves as all right, somebody calling in. All right, how do we take this call? Oh, answer. Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna take your call. All right. Hello? Hold on. Hello? They hung up? You can call back. Call back. The person that called and call back. All right. All right. Whoever called in, call back. All right. We still getting our phone system together, but call back. Those of you call in, call back. All right. So, I think it was a 480. All right, but share this to the Pan-African groups. You Pan-Africanists over here, we want to share this link to you because I want you, because we're gonna be doing High and Mighty Talks every Monday. It's gonna be High and Mighty Talk Mondays live from 7 to 8, right? 7 to 8:30, depending on how long we want to go. Because I want to get this in here. I want to chop it up with these people, as Tariq Nasheed said. I like that term, chop it up. But I want to, get it going and whatnot. I want to get a dialogue going. Because I'm the only one, seem like I'm the only one standing on the Mesoamerican. A lot of these guys are afraid to use the term Mesoamerican and just totally delete this whole African thing. A lot of these guys are afraid to just totally cut. Like I said, even the guy, what's his name? What's this guy's name? I forget his name. He talks about the Black Indian thing and whatnot. Again, man, look. I forget what that guy's name is. What's that guy's name? The guy who talks about the Black Indians and all this other stuff. What was this guy? No, not Kareem. No, the guy. No, not Abermore. Those are good guys. Abermore and the what's the guy's name? All right, what's that guy's name? Y'all know what I'm talking about. It'll come to me. His name will come to me. But anyway. Dane Calloway. Thank you. Dane Calloway. This guy, he's still with the Black Indian nonsense. Okay? We're not Black Indians. We're Mesoamerican. Okay? We're Mesoamerican. We're ethnic American through our Mesoamerican ancestors. The first indigenous people, the only real Americans here in this society. We're the only ones who could call ourselves American. Okay? The people that came here, like I said, they're not American. They're American immigrants. But we're the only real ethnic Americans. There's a difference. You got the ethnic people and you got the immigrants. Everybody here in America is immigrants, but so-called black people. And I'm talking about so-called black people whose family went through slavery and things like that. Only ethnic Americans are the people in the West Indies and the people here in North America. And like I said, we have descendancy all over the planet. In the UK, because those of you, if you have family in the UK, if you're in the UK and you got family in the West Indies, Haiti, whatever, then you American. You American. Okay? If you got family, then that, and here in the West Indies, whatever, we got 126 views. Okay. All right. Okay. Then that means you're American. Like I said, we have to start embracing our ethnic American heritage. Forget Africa, man. Africa don't love us, man. Africa don't love us. The Africans don't love you. We have to start embracing our ethnic American heritage. And we have to start embracing our ethnic American music, which is jazz, R&B, hip-hop, blues, rock and roll. All of that is our music. Bebop, all that's our music. You see, black people can't protect their heritage because I said only a people who have an ethnicity, only a people who have a nationality and ethnicity can protect what's theirs, what's ethnically theirs. Like when I was watching Tariq Nasheed, he was showing on his show how a lot of these people are starting to take credit for contributions made by ethnic Americans. You see, they taking credit for it, like this guy Fat Joe with the hip hop thing. Fat Joe, as you can see, he got that mongoloid Asian look to him. You look at his eyes, he looks like a mongoloid Asian. He got some bronze in him, some copper colored bronze in him. You see, but he's got a lot of the Asian, and a lot of those Latinos got Asian in them. They're part of that crossing of the Bering Straits from the people that came from Mongolia into America. They're not original, but a lot of them are claiming Native American or Indians now. A lot of them are claiming Indian, which again shows you that that's not even the right terminology for what the natives are. The natives are Mesoamerican. And now they trying to claim, you got some of these Mexicans, they sitting up here, and like I said, this is a goddamn insult, and this is a travesty, because they sitting here it is, you see these undeniably bronze men and bronze women, so-called black men and black women, on these walls, on these temples, because you know our people, we're going to show ourselves before we leave out of anywhere. We're going to show our ass before we leave anywhere. Our picture's going to be all over the wall, everything. That's indicative of our people. We love taking pictures. We love doing mural art, cover art, all of this stuff. We love that, man. We love showing and leaving our images. And that's a beautiful thing that our Mesoamerican ancestors did that on the Bonin Park Temple. It's so much damn proof that our people are the real natives of this land, the real Native Americans of this land, the real ethnic Americans of this land. It's ridiculous. There's so much proof of that. And next to no damn proof about no African connection. Yeah, the African slave trade did happen, but stopped in 1808. Did not come into North America after that. They just enslaved the people that were already here. The people that were already on the land. The people who were the descendants of the Mayan people who ended up in Georgia, Mississippi, who came further into the South and was farming the land. When these Europeans came here, all they did, they was like, oh, the hell with this African slave thing. This is too much. They don't know how to work the land. We got to beat these people. They fighting with us. So we might well take these people's land that's here. The people who had the mounds here, who had the mound cities here, was farming the land, because we don't know how to farm no land. We come from Europe. And we might well just go ahead and take them into slavery and take their land, because that's what happened. They got together, got some guns, and just took our land. We was living on these lands that became plantations. We were growing on these lands. That's how your slave system really got set up. They don't want to tell that truth. So-called black people are native to America. So-called black people, so-called African Americans, aka the bronze copper colored races of America, the who have Mesoamerican heritage and ancestry, we are the Americans. We are the ethnic Americans. We are the only real Americans. Only us. And if you want to be technical about it, this government really belongs to us. Why? Because we built the economy of the United States. There was no United States, like Tariq Nasheed said. There was no United States until so-called black people built the United States through the economy. You cannot have a government without an economy. Who do you think built the economy here? Not Caucasians. The economy had to be built through work, through cotton, through logging, through lumber, cotton, everything that was traded on the stock exchange, even us. That is what built the economy here in America. Okay? That's what built the economy. And when slavery stopped, a lot of the economy went under in the South and places like that, and in the North, because they had our people, and a lot of our people was working in the first factories when the 20th century came in. A lot of the people that escaped from slavery from the South came to the North and started working the early factory jobs. Okay? They was doing the early work here in America. You had slaves in New York, all over. We had slavery. Our people was breaking free, coming from it, but the heavy lifting was done by our people. Hell, our people built the damn White House. We built the White House that these Caucasians sat in for years and whatnot. We built that. Slave labor built that. Again, who taught them? Who taught them? If we African, who taught them to build? Who taught the people? George Washington had a bunch of people who were the Washita, right? Where he got his name Washington from, because his name was originally Wessington. Look it up. See, this is the history they don't tell you about in American history. That this man came over here and took his name and meshed it in with the Washita people here, George Washington, because he had a plantation up in Mount Vernon, New York, and that's where the Washita territory was. So all they did was took them people hostage. Next thing you know, they slaves to him. Next thing you know, he creates the name Washington from the word Wessington because he wanted to marry his name with the natives that were already here, the Washita, which are descendants of the Olmecs and the Aztec and all of them. So he mixed it. He took his name Wessington and took the Washita, and it became Washington. He created that name. That's why, if you notice, there's no Washington in England. There's no name Washington in England. That name was created here in America by George Washington. He took the name of the people that was here, the Washita tribe, which were all bronze, copper-colored people, so-called black people, of which Denzel Washington's people are members of. Denzel Washington's people his family go back to Washita. That's where he get the name Washington, because he's from Mount Vernon. See, this is the history you don't know. This is the history that you're forbidden to talk about. Or that you ain't gonna find in the African American History Museum in the Smith that was sponsored by the Smithsonian, where they got all kind of degenerate images of so-called black people. That was meant to be an insult. They would have been better off not building no damn museum. You let y'all sit up here and you big up the Smithsonian. You see? So call in. Those of you got the number, I think the number's up there. Call in. All right. We're taking calls. All right. Those of you who want to call in, we're taking calls. You can answer questions. The number is 929-430-5191. Call in if you have any questions or comments, concerns, and what I'm saying. Let's do this. We're looking for some debate. We're looking for some of you pan-Africanists out here who got an issue with what I'm saying. Because a lot of you, like I said, a lot of you so-called pan-Africanists, a lot of you guys done bought into a lie. You done bought into this false narrative of pan-Africanism. You done bought into this. You done bought into the African-American thing, mainly because you heard Caucasians say that. Mainly because y'all been groomed to believe that nonsense of pan-Africanism and that we all came from Africa. A lot of our people, they need to be re-educated in the right way, with logic and rational truth and reality. You see, because what you so-called pan-Africanists, African Americans, black people, that all that embrace that nonsense, you've been fed a bad bill of goods. You've been fed a bad bill of goods with this whole African American thing and all this Negro nonsense. You've been fed a bad bill of goods. Okay? Like I said, that's why I said, please share this broadcast everywhere. Share this live everywhere. Even if you're not going to see it, share it in the black group. Share it all over the place. Let it be known. Even if people are not going to see it live, still share it in the groups. That way they know every Monday around 7 o'clock. It might be a little late sometime, due to technical things, because it's our second cast. They let it be known. Listen, it's going to be a strong contingent of people, forward-thinking people who are looking to restore our true roots, our true heritage going forward. We're going forward as ethnic Americans, man. The hell with the African American thing, man. The hell with the black thing. The hell with the African American thing. It was cute while it lasted. It had its run. It's always meant to be a program. It never really taught our people nothing about their heritage or history. So, man, the hell with being an African, and the hell with being an African American, all that other nonsense. We're just ethnic Americans now going forward. We ethnic American. We don't have no tie to Africa. We don't buy into the whole thing of, all life started in Africa. Let me examine that for a minute. Let's examine that for a minute. Let's logically examine that for a minute. Now, I'm the first one that brought logical and rational thinking forward as a group collectively amongst our people. Let's logically and rationally examine that for a second. When they say all life started in Africa, so are you saying animal life, all living creatures being started in a place called Africa? First and foremost, somebody had to call that place Africa. And somebody, usually the youngest people on the planet, are telling you that where all life started at. And I'm like, but you're finding ruins and you're finding civilizations that are older than African civilizations and places that are not African. See, when you say all life, real life is civilization. Don't tell me nothing about a bunch of primitive creatures running around and all this other stuff. That's not life. That's creatures in a state of existence. Real life starts when intelligence starts, when civilizations are built. That's life. Okay? Don't tell me about somebody just walking around, scratching their ass, picking fleas off themselves like these cave people. That's existence. Our people never been in a state. I'm going to show you something. So-called black people, we don't have any primitive versions of ourselves. There's no such thing as primitive black people. Okay? There's no such thing as primitive black people. There's no such thing as black people being cave people or monkey people. That's a lie. That's a lie. There's no such thing as no cave black people or any primitive black people. I challenge anybody to produce a picture of that, because these pictures you see where these Caucasian scientists are now trying to rework the whole story of primitive man, because whenever they showed you primitive man, they always were showing you Caucasians. They never showed no black people. When they showed you from monkey to man, the so-called evolution of man from monkey, black people wasn't in that evolutionary chart. There was no so-called black people, no bronze people in that chart. Now prove that there was any time where our people were primitive. Now, if you want to talk about the tribalism of the Africans and whatnot, really, even though you might say it might be primitive, or you might say they prime, or that their ways are, how you say, not as what is the word I want to say? Not as advanced as today. Okay, that's fine. You can say that, but they're not really primitive. Their time, they were. For what they were doing for that time, that was in alignment for that time. Primitive is people sitting around here. They don't like your early humans, your early Caucasians in them in caves trying to strike fire and all that. That's primitive. That's primitive. Trying to strike fires and eating raw meat and stuff like that. And that's primitive. Okay, our people never did that. Even the Africans didn't do that. Cannibalism, some of them that did, but like I said, our people wasn't really primitive at all. You don't have no monkey to man evolutionary chart for our people. When you start to see these images, those are all made up images right there. With Caucasians, they want to start aligning us and putting us in alignment with that whole monkey to man evolution thing, which is not the truth. That's not the truth. Because if it was, you know how they wanted to always call us monkeys and claim black people like monkeys. They've been wanting to say that. But the truth of the matter is, you know who the people are who really look like monkeys. You already know that. with the straight hair, the people with the straight hair and the thin lips and the pale skin up under it. You already know where the monkey people come from, the rhesus monkey people, the jackal people. You already know where they come from, but we ain't gonna go that far today. Yeah, that's for another time. That's for the raw and uncuts. By the way, subscribe to MENTELLECT Patreon for the raw and uncuts on my. You want to hear the raw and uncut? Cause see, I can't really talk. You know, I said I'm gonna make this general rated. I'm not gonna use any profanity. I'm not gonna, be as raw as I can be. But go check out MENTELLECT Patreon for all the good stuff. Subscribe to MENTELLECT Patreon, only $15 a month, and subscribe to High and Mighty Talks with New Men Courage. Because, like I said, I'm giving the logical perspective on these topics, and I want these people to call in and challenge me. Call in and challenge me. Share these lives. I want more people in these lives. This is our second cast. I want more people to subscribe to this, and I want to, like I said, I want to really contribute to the intellectual upgrade of our people. Our people need to be intellectually upgraded, because that's all my High and Mighty Talks are for. My High and Mighty Talks for the people who can be intellectually upgraded. I'm not interested in dealing with people who can't be. Say again? I'm sorry. Talk up. 8 o'clock? Okay. But I'm going to wrap this up, all right, because one of my wives told me, and I said one of my wives, that'll be another topic. My wife's going to be on camera one day with me. My wives and my children. Yes, I have a couple of wives. I have 2 wives so far. Working on, dealing with what I got to deal with so far. Probably take on a third or 4. We'll see. 2 children. That's controversial, but whatever. We're gonna wrap this up. We ain't got no more questions and things like that. No more questions, no more concerns and things like that people want to talk about. I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm looking in the chat. I can't go through all of the sounds like ventilation, brother, to get to the herb smoke. Ventilation. I'm reading some of the chats. Yeah, that's right. They can't find it. I'm reading some of the chats. Okay. All right. Also, go to Unlimited Epics. We have our own epic book line. We don't use the word comic books. Go to Unlimited Epics and purchase our books. Right? Bronze, copper-colored superheroes, American superheroes, real American superheroes. But that's it. We're going to wrap up in the name of Amen, by the power of Amen. And Amen we trust, and Amen we thank, and Amen we continue forward forever. We shall be back Monday at 7 o'clock, and we're going to continue. So y'all, we're going to be doing the live. We're going to close out. That's it. Good night. Oh, check out MENTELLECT Radio tonight at 10.